Public hearing for the Tangipahoa Parish Council for Monday, February 22nd, 2021 will come to order. We have one item on public hearing. It's the adoption of TP ordinance number 21-11. It's an ordinance to grant a variance to Tangipahoa Parish Code of Ordinances, Chapter 17-4.2-4A, mini partitions for Mr. Eduardo Gato at 41066 Byers Road, Ponchatoula, Louisiana, in District 2. Is anyone here to speak on that item? Okay, we'll close public hearing. And we'll go into our regular business meeting for the Tangipahoa Parish Council. Call to order. We'll have invocation by Mr. Lewis Joseph with Pledge of Allegiance led by Mr. Trent Forrest.
Thank you very much. Heavenly Father, thank you for the many blessings we have received. Very, very grateful. We thank you for our health. We thank you for our strength. We thank you for our peace of mind. We thank you for our families and our places. We ask that you bless us this evening tonight by giving us leadership, all of the wisdom, the knowledge, and understanding to do all those things that please you in your eyesight. We ask that you bless all our questions, responders, and all those who speak good and don't take your place, who put themselves in harm's way so that we enjoy the privileges that we enjoy today. All I ask that you heal the state of Texas, that they will come back even stronger when they suffer. They lose their hand, they pretty good understanding of what they're doing, what they're doing right now. Like I said, they get comfortable, and they see come back home. And then we use the language of their privilege, like they use the eyes and some of them back there, some of those. These blessings are all that's transferring the Son of Jesus Christ. And all the saints with the Son of the Lord, shall I say. Amen.
Please raise the flag for all veterans and active military renders a proper salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Forrest? Mr. Ingraffia?
Here.
Mr. Joseph?
Present.
Mr. Bruno?
Here.
Mr. Richtel?
Here.
Mr. Mayhew?
Here.
Mr. Wells?
Here.
Mr. Vial?
Here.
Ms. Hyde?
Here.
Ms. Coates?
Here. Hopefully everyone had a chance to look over the minutes that were emailed to you. If we have a motion to accept the minutes from February 8th, 2021 meeting.
I so move, Madam Chair.
Second. All right, we have a motion by Mr. Wells, second by Mr. Ingraffia to accept the minutes. Roll call, please.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno? Mr. Richtel?
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Yes. Okay. Public input. Is there anyone who would wish to address an item that is not on the agenda for public hearing? Okay. Ms. Downer, we'll have you speak when that item comes up on the agenda, if that's okay. All right. We'll have our parish president come and give us his report now.
Good evening, everyone. It's nice to be a little warmer. We just have a few items on the agenda for your approval. We have approval of the final acceptance of overlay program phase 21 for the fiscal year 2020. Our inspectors have confirmed that all the work has been completed properly and is ready to be to go into the warranty period of work.
Do we need a motion?
So
Need a
moved.
motion?
Second.
So we have a motion by
So
Mr.
moved.
Rich. Motion by Mr. Ridgel, second by Mr. Wells to approve the final exception of our overlay program, phase 21. Roll call, please.
Mr. Forrest? Mr. Graffia? Mr. Joseph? Mr. Bruno? Mr. Richtel?
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Thank you. The second item is approval of the new and current model Western Star 4700 roll-off truck bid. There were 2 bids received. All Truck Parts and Equipment Company LLC was the lowest bidder at $162,802. You'll remember we attempted to go out for bid, tried to find a used truck, didn't work out, came back. That's like our 3rd attempt to get this truck purchased.
So moved.
I'll second. A motion to accept the bid by Mr. Mayhew, second by Mr. Coates. Roll call, please.
Mr. Graffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Ridgel?
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates? Mr. Forrest?
Thank you. The third thing is an approval to enter into a memorandum of understanding between Tangipahoa Parish government and the Tangipahoa Rec District Number 3 to apply for a Keep Louisiana Beautiful Trash Receptacle Mini Grant Program.
So,
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Joseph, second by Mr. Forrest. Roll call, please.
Mr. Joseph?
yes.
Mr. Bruno? Mr. Richtel?
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest? Mr. Graffia?
Yes. And the last item is just informative. Your financial reports, you should have a copy of one and emailed to you. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to Jeff or Miss here, any of the staff, and we'll be glad to get you the information. And does anybody have any questions for me?
Robbie, can we get an email or a copy of the list of roads, what overlay?
Yes,
The
sir.
final?
Okay, the ones that we just did,
Yeah.
the finished. Okay, yes, sir. I'll send that out right now. Any other questions? Great, thank y'all.
Thank you. All right, we'll move into regular business. Item number 5 is adoption of TP ordinance number 21-11, an ordinance to grant a variance to Tangipahoa Parish Code of Ordinances, Chapter 17-4.2-4A, many petitions for Mr. Eduardo Gato at 41066 Byers Road, Ponchatoula, Louisiana, in District 2.
So moved.
Second here.
Mr. Vial? No.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a motion by Mr. Ingraffia, a second by Mr. Vial. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Richtel?
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates? Yes. Mr. Forrest? Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Okay. Item number 6 is an introduction of TP ordinance number 21-12, an ordinance to place a variance to ordinance number 97-25, adoption of state sanitary code for Randy Legault at 42101 Highway 22 West, Ponchatoula, Louisiana, in District 10.
That's me.
Ms. Coates?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Ms. Coates, second by Mr. Wells. Roll call, please.
Mr. Richtel?
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest? Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Okay. Next item is item number 8. I'm sorry, I checked off the wrong one. Item 7, introduction of TP ordinance number 2113, an ordinance to place a moratorium on the consideration and/or approval of all solar panel forms or commercial solar power plants within Tangipahoa Parish until such time as the pending studies and ordinances are complete.
This was brought by the Regulations Committee. We just want to make sure we have the proper ordinances and everything in place to protect the Tangipahoa Parish residents before we allow those. So this is not saying no, this is just to make sure we have the rules and regulations in place. So
What's the time?
Yeah, what's the time?
it should be 90 days.
90 days. What's
It
in-
doesn't say that.
In
It
the
does.
ordinance, it does. It's, where it says, be it further ordained, or that the moratorium shall expire 90 days from the adoption.
Oh, in the ordinance.
Yes, sir, in the ordinance.
All right, I got a question about it. It's probably not something I'm happy about, but it's the sign of the times, and when it comes to personal property, you know, that's a big thing to me, and I think people should be allowed to do what they need to do on their property. But I'd like to ask that we get this along as soon as possible, that we don't drag this thing out 90 days, because I just don't believe there's really a lot that we can do. I think what we need to do is have some protection in there for the landowners as far as what happens at the end of these leases. And I think maybe look at a bond, that these companies put up a bond. But I just don't think we need to drag this out for no long period of time, because some of these people have already signed with these companies. And I don't want to jeopardize anybody that has already signed and has an understanding. But I would like to see us kind of put this on the front burner and try to get this thing done in the next, 2 weeks to 30 days if possible. Because I just don't see where we've got a lot of ammunition to shoot. The only thing we can do is kind of protect them from the couple of things that's there that we know we can do, and then the rest of it, we just got to hope for the better, But that would be all I have to say, because I know quite a few people that are looking at it or either have signed, and, it's a personal preference. So I don't know how much we can get ourselves involved in personal property.
All right, Mr. Joseph.
What is the possibility of bringing whomever here to explain to this council what this is all about, so people out in...
We have a representative from one of the companies here, so
Oh,
she's
really?
going to speak.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's all you told. Okay.
Ms. May, do you have a comment? If no one else has a comment,
I just have a few.
Okay, Mr.
I
Beal.
think Mr. Bruno hit the nail on the head, that they want to respect people's property rights, be sure they're protected. There's a lot I don't know about this. I've seen enforcement, and, is this a type of bond you need, is there some kind of, are there safety studies out there? Sure there are, and we just need more information to really what we're looking for, okay? So I think we need to try to wrap this up as soon as possible myself, but I do think it's in the best interest of the property owner, be sure they're protected.
anyone else?
No, I'm
Well,
sorry.
Ms. Downer had turned in a form to speak. Can we allow him to fill one out if he'd like to speak? They're on the back table if you'd like to grab one, and after she speaks, we'll recognize you.
Is this what they're calling clean energy? Do y'all know?
Yeah, well, that's part of it.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Downer.
Good evening, my name is Laurel Downen, and I am with Invenergy LLC. We are a Chicago-based energy project developer, specializing in renewable energy, so clean energy, solar, wind, natural gas, and battery storage. So far, we have developed 175 projects worldwide. We are currently working on the development of a solar farm just down Highway 16 here. And I have read and heard some of your concerns about the project decommissioning and associated environmental risks, so I just wanted to address some of those this evening. First and foremost, the solar panels are primarily made of recyclable materials, so that's glass and steel. We do not use panels that contain heavy metals, so no cadmium, mercury, or lead. We do use panels that contain crystalline silicon, which is a non-hazardous material. Furthermore, Invenergy is committed to using materials which pass the T-clip test, and that's toxicity characteristic leaching procedure. And I'm not an expert in that, but it is the EPA's test to determine the toxicity levels in certain materials. And so we only use panels that have passed that test. In regards to removing the facilities after the life of the project, we typically institute a decommissioning bond while the project is in operation to ensure that we have funds to be able to remove the facilities after the project has finished its life. And lastly, we are required in our leases to restore the land back to its original condition or reasonably similar conditions as they were pre-development. I actually have 10 copies, perfect for, of a independent study conducted by NC State that addresses a lot of these issues and just gives really good background information about solar development. So I'd be happy to do this with you. So happy to answer any of questions.
You said that y'all panels do not have heavy metals. In the agreements that you have with the landowners on these leases, is that included in the lease, that there's no heavy metals? Because what would happen if y'all put up the non-heavy metal panels, and then something changes? I mean, it could be changed to the heavy metal panels. So I think there's one of the things that, I like the idea y'all don't use the heavy metals, but I think that needs to be put in there for the benefit of the landowners, that we only use a certain type of panel. Because 5 years down the road, if these don't work, or they find out that the other ones are better, what protection is there for the landowner using heavy metal? You know, going from what they thought was going to be not heavy metal. And then, I guess the other thing is, you said a bond, that y'all do put a bond. How is that bond valued? What?
We get an independent third party to create a decommissioning report, and so the value is the labor of the whole decommissioning process minus any scrap value of the solar farm.
Okay. And is that a transferable deal in case your company sells to somebody else, that transfers with the sale? Is that in agreement?
It is I'm not positive.
Okay. Because see, these are the things that we're concerned about.
Okay.
And really, to tell you the truth, a landowner needs to be concerned about these things. Because companies sell out, they go out of business. Who knows what's going to happen down the road? It might sound good right now, but what is the protection in the long run if that company no longer exists when the shelf life of these are over with? So those are the kind of questions, and I really appreciate you being here, but I would like to see the answers to those questions. Okay?
So there's nothing in your panels that you have to pay to dispose of? They're all profitably recyclable?
That's correct. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things we could require, Trent, we don't want panels with heavy metals. So if that's one of the concerns, you can.
Look at things and make sure that the property owners are protected, and then to make sure that when the company is finished, that the land is returned to its proper use. Those are some of the things that we can do.
Do you happen to know what the wattage, the megawatts is, or do you have any clue?
The one down the road, we're working on 120 megawatts.
Do you know when y'all was planning on starting construction?
That's the question. We are targeting a commercial operations date of the end of 2023. So that would mean starting construction towards the Q3 of next year. And
Is there a website where we can do more digging?
absolutely. Well, our website is Invenergy, and I'll give you all cards.
Okay.
This report that I brought that's just more information about our company. The report that I brought can give you more information about solar panels in general. And there's lots of information on the web. I'm happy to send you more info about these specific items.
Okay.
Do your panels rotate with the sun?
Yes, they do.
What is the life expectancy of these panels, and is there any changes, if any, that these panels,
The life expectancy of the solar farm is 35 years, and short answer, no. We see this as renewable energy as a very clean, non-hazardous source of fuel and fuel to the local economy.
Do you typically put buffers around your farms?
Yes, ma'am, in terms of, yeah, setbacks from the roads and things.
Do you have a certain, like a typical size, or?
If there's not a statewide or a local ordinance, then I believe it's 50 feet from the roads, but I'd have to double check that.
What about, like hurricanes, storms? How susceptible are these to damage? Do you have any in areas that, you know, where there have been hurricanes come through, and how do they hold up?
We do not currently have anything in the coastal zone or anything as far south as Louisiana. The panels are rated for different wind categories, and typically the way it works is whoever the customer is. In this case, we have a great relationship with Entergy, so that's who we're working with to try to offtake the project, but we're open to many ideas here. And they request a certain category, like storm category, for the strength of the panels.
I got one more question.
Go ahead.
Ms. Laurel, y'all company actually finds the leases, signs the leases. Y'all build the farm,
Yes, sir.
y'all company builds the farm, and then y'all try to get an agreement with a power company to buy the energy, is that correct?
That's one of the deal structures we have. That we have a power purchase agreement. We also sometimes do deal transfer agreements where we build it all, and then at final completion, we transfer the assets purchased by a utility.
So you would have to actually have a transmission line to be able to get this solar power to whatever power company.
That's correct, yeah.
So have y'all secured the transmission line on this farm?
Yeah, we're in the process of doing that. So there's the chicken farm substation right off of Lake Morris Road. And we're going to be interconnecting into that line right off of that substation. The process for getting what they call GIA, interconnection agreement, is very long.
Right.
We're expecting GIA end of this year, but we are currently in the process.
Okay.
Evaluating all of that.
Right.
Are there any other questions? We appreciate you coming, especially if it's short notice.
Yeah, thank you all so much for that.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Ms. Laurel.
Yeah. Mr. Ray, is that Boss? Boss.
Just call him Bob. The Bob, yes. I've been around here for many years. I've worked some of y'all, worked under some of y'all. I'm currently reside at 60 Road 45, and I'm aware that they have this solar farm coming. I was approached by mail to sign on. I did not. In my rewards, what I like is my house, where I live, is for me, for my family, and down to me. And I do support landowners. I believe that they should use land how they want to do what they want to. But also, you have to imply that it should not impact negatively on my neighbors. Okay. Having said that, she answered some of the concerns, especially with heavy metals and harmful chemicals that could get to the ground for many years. Also, how would it affect the water runoff? I live on the side of the hill, where they want to put solar panels above, up the hill. So where would that storm water run? Will have to be impacted negatively on the land. Another thing is tornadoes and high winds. What about the increase of the metal that's being placed on these lands? Electricity being produced causes electric magnet. It could increase lightning strikes around, because we are very prone for lightning strikes where we live. I'm almost calling it like an exterior microwave oven. And that's where I'm gonna be. And what about the glare and reflections from the panels itself? Do these panels produce any type of radiation that we should be mindful of? You know, you talk about some landowners, they did sign on, we should protect them, but landowners did not sign on, or we won't protect them, you know. What kind of, like I said, radiation will affect our environment, our wildlife, or even communities when we live next door? But my main concern is this: we need to set some type of boundary between the property owner's line where we'll put the panels, and then we should have two separate borders, one for property lines and one for residents. Because whether you put the solar panels, it can be on two sides of my house, and my house is no more than, on one side it's probably no more than 20 feet from the property line, and the other side maybe 40 feet. So I wouldn't want any type of hazardous waste, water from the panels, radiation, glare. I appreciate your time giving me this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Any other discussion? We can move on to item number 8.
Well, we didn't do it.
I'm sorry. Somebody, okay, Ms. Coates, make a motion that we introduce the moratorium in the second. We have a motion by Ms. Coates, second by Mr. Forrest. Roll call, please.
Mr. Mayhew? Mr. Wells?
Yeah.
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates? Mr. Forrest? Mr. Graffia? Mr. Joseph? Mr. Bruno? Mr. Ridgell?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Can we have a meeting set up for our next one? We'll move as fast as we can on this. Item 8, adoption of T resolution number R21-005. It's a resolution stating the parish council's approval and endorsement of Tangipahoa Parish Convention Visitors Bureau proceeding with the issuance, sale, and delivery of its not to exceed $150,000 revenue note in one or more series as application for loan under the Paycheck Protection Program. Ms. Tate, would you like to speak on that?
Questions for me, I've talked to several leaders, so we work with Jim Ryan and Harmon, and so they have been everything together to go to bond commission. That's just protocol what we have to do to apply for the PPP. And it is not to exceed the 150. We don't think that's where our application is. We looked at that figure, just in case there was no.
Now you have to do this to get the PPP.
Right, we have to go to the bond commission just to get approval to do that. And so it's just normal PPP.
You don't know how they pay this.
They are, it's been 99% forgiven. We plan to use this strictly for payroll, not for anything else, so it should all be forgiven. But that is the requirements for our criminal business with the bond commission.
Would you say your name?
I second.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates? Mr. Forrest? Mr. Graffia? Mr. Joseph? Mr. Bruno? Mr. Ridgell? Mr. Mayhew?
Yes.
I want to ask a question. I know we did put the COVID-19, but someone like my own family, the animals or the LHSA, that's
Yes, sir. So, actually, getting ready Wednesday, we are going to be hosting the LHSAA Boys and Girls Soccer Championship. And then,
Did they get drafted?
track, well, we had a Southland Conference, track, and that was just Sunday. And then Monday, we'll start the girls' basketball championship for LHSAA, that we got. And that's part of the parish and the city and tourism and the Hammond Chamber have all really stepped up the First American Bank, to help us put this on, just because of all the COVID restrictions. It's gonna be quite different. We do have to clear the university center after every game. We're always used to just have to go in and stay in there all day, so we will have to do that. And then also Southeastern had just announced that they were awarded the South Conference Baseball Championships too. That will be in May. And we're also going to be having the South Conference Softball Championships. So there's a lot of things going on. It's busy, there's a lot of things overlapping, but we're not gonna complain about it. We're just thrilled that we have something good happening now. Thank you.
We've been very fortunate with tourism and our parish issues. Thank you all for your support. Item number 9, adoption of TT resolution number R21-06, a resolution to endorse and adopt Tangipahoa Parish Government 2020 Hazardous Mitigation Plan update. Ms. Bailey, would you like to speak on that?
Our hazard mitigation plan has to be reviewed and revised every 5 years and resubmitted to FEMA for approval. And this is a plan that talks about actions we'll take to mitigate any negative effects for types of disasters, storms, flooding, wind, forest fires, and so on. So we submitted that to state GOSIP office, and FEMA, they reviewed it, sent it back with some suggested updates. We made those changes and modifications, and now we're asking the council adopt it. So we're doing that in the adoption.
Any motions to discuss that?
Make that motion.
Thank you. Second? I'm sorry.
John.
We have a motion by Mr. Mayhew, second by Mr. Bradford. Roll call, please.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates? Mr. Forrest? Mr. Graffia? Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno? Mr. Richards? Mr. Mayhew?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Item number 10, adoption of TT resolution number R21-07, a resolution of support for the Tangipahoa Parish Council for KAE, just to keep America beautiful, community enhancement grant program.
In order for us to, go after grants from keeping America, we have resolutions for the council. This ties into the, resolution I asked for earlier, or the Red District's kind of under all the grants from those, either Louisiana or America, we have a support for the whole administration and council, that's what we're asking.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Wells, motion by Mr. Joseph, second by Mr. Wells. Roll call, please.
Ms. Coates? Mr. Forrest? Mr. Graffia? Mr. Joseph? Mr. Bruno? Mr. Richards? Mr. Mayhew? Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes. All right, item number 11, adoption of TT resolution number R21-08. This is a resolution recognizing the naming of the Tangipahoa Recreation District number 3, which is in the Aiden area, to be named Neola Farms Sports Complex.
I'll second.
Just curious where that name came from, Mr. Judge. Okay.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Joseph, second by Mr. Vial. Roll call, please.
Mr. Forrest? Mr. Graffia? Mr. Joseph? Mr. Bruno? Mr. Richards? Mr. Mayhew?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde? Ms. Coates?
Joint rejoining Tangipahoa Parish Water District. We have just one, and then
That's what I want. Got all the paperwork, please. Okay.
Mr. Wells, is yours?
No. No.
Mr. Williams?
Oh, great, yeah.
Term unexpired term limits
Oh, well, I'm sorry, I messed up on that. I'll move on, Madam Chair.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Wells, second by Mr. Mayhew.
I'm gonna move
Mr. Graffia? Mr. Joseph? Mr. Ridgel? Mr. Mayhew? Mr. Wells?
Yeah.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde? Ms. Coates? Mr. Forrest?
Next, we have appoint, reappoint, Tangipahoa Parish Communications District 1, which is our 911 board. We have one coming up. Big we have one that's up renewal, that's District 2. John? I'm sorry, it's a 2-year term, I'm looking at the wrong thing. This is the, I think,
Police Chiefs Association was also independent police chief Frank Edwards be appointed to fill Jerry Bone's place.
since Mr. Jerry Bone will go along, we have a recommendation that be replaced with Frank Edwards. Somebody wants to make that motion? Motion by Mr. Wells.
Joe.
We have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Joseph? Mr. Bruno? Mr. Ridgel? Mr. Mayhew? Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde? Ms. Coates? Mr. Forrest? Mr. Graffia?
Item 14, appoint, reappoint Recreation District 3 for the AA area.
Yeah, that's mine, and, I'm gonna make no notes.
Have a motion by Mr. Joseph, second.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Joseph, second by Mr. Wells to reappoint Gerald Medina and Wayne Johnson. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bruno? Mr. Ridgel? Mr. Mayhew?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde? Ms. Coates? Mr. Forrest? Mr. Graffia? Mr. Joseph?
Next item number 15, this is discussion of Tangipahoa Parish Planning Commission resolution number 2020-01, a resolution by the Tangipahoa Parish Planning Commission requesting the passage of an ordinance giving complete authority to the Planning Commission as described under Louisiana Revised Statute 33-101 through Louisiana Revised Statute 33-130 as applicable to Tangipahoa Parish. So at the beginning of December meeting, the Planning Commission passed a resolution, and asked it to come to the council, or whatever reason we didn't receive it, until now. But, I've asked the land use committee, to research this is something that we're gonna move quickly on. We're gonna look at updating our comprehensive plan for the parish. We're also gonna look at some, maybe type of buffering, that will be specific to different applications. So I think this is gonna go hand in hand. We have a comprehensive plan now, but the council never adopted standards that allow the planning commission to use that comprehensive plan in their planning for our parish.
They're asking sole authority to reject and approve development.
Well, they're asking for the authority that the statute gives them, which is to use the comprehensive plan to make decisions. I know we started talking about all the flooding ordinances that have made, there's a lot of people who were opposed to that. We heard our consultant, when she came in and really explained everything to the community, to the administration, to the council, everyone's on the same page. And I really encourage each of you to come March 6th, the Capital Regional Planning Commission will be sponsoring a training. We're actually hosting it in our parish, and it's going to be from 8 o'clock to 12 that Saturday morning on 6th. And I really encourage each of you to come. It's not just training the planning commission, it's for the parish council also, so that we can hear what representatives tell the planning commission is their job, and we can all be on the same page. I know Ms. Bailey sent an invitation, each one of you
Chairman, if it's okay with you, I don't want to give them any false hope, because I am totally against this. We're elected to represent our constituents. I appreciate these people serve, that they're a pleasure to do this, but this is not a matter, you know, and I've had a couple of told me, you know, I want the authority, even if something meets its qualifications, turn it down if I don't like it. Well, that's not what it's about. You got rules in place that are passed by this council. It's up to them to follow the rules that are passed by the council. And I do know there's a state statute, but also this parish is under our own charter. It can operate under the rules that we have. And to give away sole authority to allow someone to decide whether a person should build something or not, I'm totally against that. And I just assume tonight make a motion, I'll make a motion now, that no, you know, I don't agree with that. And I think instead of dragging this out, I think it needs to be known that, now, I mean, I'm not getting out of it, everybody might think they're different than me. But I'm not gonna put this in the hands of somebody that's not elected to make those decisions. Because I tell you what's happening, we're gonna wind up in court about 90% of the time. And we're gonna lose. That's my only thing I'm gonna say about it.
Well, I expressed my opinion to the board, I sent out an email, so I'll just, not to belabor all those points, but I'm in the same boat as Mr. Bruno. I'm not going to give this authority. I'm elected by approximately 13,000, represent 13,000 people, we all do, okay? So I'm not going to give this authority to, and I appreciate everything the board does, but I'm not going to give it to our planning commission, give them sole authority. I'm not going to do that, okay? And we've already experienced this, okay? The name of the firm was Gulf Coast Cabinetry. And I didn't really like where they were putting Gulf Coast Cabinetry, but likely legal to do different things. And that's what I said that night, okay? They followed every process we had, every regulation we had in the parish, down to the T. Went to the planning commission and they voted no. Okay? Now, why did they vote no? I understand. They had a number of people who lived next door came and did not like what was going to be built. But liking and illegal are two different things. So, we've already experienced this once, and I'll second Mr. Bruno's motion. I think we just need to vote on this, and everybody express their opinion.
I don't know reason. But planning commission brings this for council. Because we appoint the planning commission, that's correct. Then if we approve this, then why do you have to planning commission? If the authority stops us being here.
I think the planning commission is questioning there, they do not, all they do is rubber stamp everything comes past.
They're sent through. I can call it military, call it ash, but they're sent through that and clean it up, bring it to us. You follow? They're cleaning it up.
It never comes to us.
Well, but let me, but
Those on appeal. Those on appeal, we will have a lot more appeals, trust us.
But Buddy and I were talking back there a while ago. We have told the planning commission over the years, many times, if when you're trying to make a decision, and what we have in place does not fit, or you see where we can do something that would be beneficial to y'all, bring it to us. It'll go to the committee, and the committee can do it. I can't remember the last time the planning commission has ever sent any up here to be changed. All they tell us is, we need the authority to vote it up or down. You have regulations in place that we all sat through and passed. If you're gonna pass regulations, and then you're gonna give somebody else the authority to say, well, I know the council voted these regulations, but I don't like them. So I'm gonna vote no. I'm telling you, you're gonna be in federal court every time you turn around, and like Buddy said, you're gonna lose. I mean, you're talking about giving away, and it's not a matter of the authority. You're the one that has to stop. The people are coming to you. So if you give away your authority, then who are the people going to go to? They're going to go to the planning commission? I don't think so. So your phone's going to keep ringing off the hook. So I'm just telling you, I'm going to make a motion. If it don't get supported, that's fine with me, but I make a motion that, no, we do not give full authority. And that's my motion.
What do we have the appointees for? If they have to follow the regulations that have place, correct?
Yes.
So why would y'all turn, why would they turn down? They're going against regulations that have place.
Well, that's what's happened with the county.
Right, I don't remember that. So why did they turn it down?
But the regulations don't protect against traffic. The regulations don't protect against other things that may not be in the regulations.
Well,
Like
can't
there
they
might
have
be a
that?
project that just does not fit a certain community.
We don't have zoning, Kim. Until you get zoning, you don't do anything like that kind of situation.
We can't do that and add some more regulations that cover some of those things?
I think regulations is a ongoing thing. You know, what I mean?
Right.
You're gonna need it again. If you see something that needs to be changed, and you get the votes to change it, that's how you do it. But you don't give that authority to someone that's not elected to change the rules. That's my thinking. Now, I may be totally wrong, but I don't think you're gonna see anybody give away their authority to a board that is not elected and doesn't answer anybody to have sole authority of what is constructed in this parish and what's not. That's just my thinking. Now, y'all can vote differently, that's up to you, but that's my opinion.
Commissioner, why is it a public vote where they publicly vote and you're taking their vote away?
I don't think you're taking their vote away.
If they're told they have to vote yes, then
If the project comes before them, Kim, and it meets the regulations that you passed, why should they, I'm asking, Joy asked that same question. If it meets the regulations that you have on the books, and it is meeting it all 100%, why should they vote against it? Because 3 or 4 people are there complaining about it? That's not how it works. That's my whole, if I'm wrong, y'all tell me I'm wrong, but I don't think it works like that.
that's why I like to encourage everyone to come to this meeting.
I've had that discussion over the last week, I talked to the attorney about it. I know where I am. There's a few on that board that don't agree with that legally, and it pushes us for a couple of years.
I call for the question. That motion says that. Am I correct?
Have a motion by Mr. Bruno, second by Mr. Bell. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ridgel?
No, yes vote would be in favor of your motion, not in favor of this ordinance. Yes.
Mr. Mayhew? Mr. Wells? Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
No.
Ms. Coates? Mr. Forrest? Mr. Ingraffia? Mr. Joseph? Mr. Bruno? 7:30.
Beer, wine, and liquor, we have one. This is on here.
Yeah.
Okay. First one is GN Sightseeing Investments, cash and dash, 19009 Sisters Road, Ponchatoula. I think that's Mr. Vial. You want to do them together?
Why should they both? I think they're both.
The second one is Stop and Shop, number 13, 44192, Highway 45, Robert. These are both Mr. Vial's. Second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Forrest? Mr. Ingraffia? Mr. Joseph? Mr. Bruno? Mr. Ridgel? Mr. Mayhew? Mr. Wells? Mr. Vial? Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Any legal matters? Councilman privileges?
I have one. Which was other area, 98 years old.
All right.
You mean you gonna be around that long?
Can someone else see our arrangements and things like that?
It'll be Wednesday from 12 to 2 at Grand G Conference.
There are no other councilman privileges. Mr. Wells, would you like to?
Yes, I'll take that. I move that we adjourn. Gonna go.
We have a motion by Mr. Wells, second by Mr. Diaz to adjourn.
Bye.